KX Country Clubhouse. Our special guest, as you know, is Tim Hicks. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Linda.
I'm going to get things underway just before we get to our listeners and your fans for them to ask some questions.
Most of these people are my friends.
Oh, are they all your friends?
Most of them, yeah. I know most
Aww,
of them. This is great.
that's so sweet.
It would have been super weird if my mom was on here, though. That would have been weird. If she's
Oh,
my mom won a chance
sure.
to like hang in a meet and greet with Tim Hicks, that'd be weird.
First of all, you're wearing an Elton John t-shirt.
Yeah,
So you got to tell us, what's your favorite Elton John song?
It's a toss-up. I love Leave On.
Oh,
I love Leave On and I love Tiny Dancer because I love I love early 70s Elton John. But if I had to pick, I'd pick Leave On. I think it's kind of like the underdog of the two, you know what I mean? And I can identify with that as a person, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, but my favorite?
Yeah.
Benny and the Jets.
Okay, you know what's funny about that? So my kids all sing because I have so many Jeffs in my life. Like, so I've had, Jeff Torn was in my band. Jeff Copeland is my producer, co-writer. Jeff Willingham is in the band. So Anna one day she started singing "Daddy and the Jeffs."
Oh, that's awesome!
And I thought,
love it.
What a win as a dad. You know what I mean? That she goes to Elton John as her tune, to pick for that. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's fantastic.
Everyone that joins the band now is named Jeff. No matter what their name, it's like the Ramones. You get the last name Ramone, like Joey Ramone, Dee Dee Ramone. In my band, your new name is Jeff. Whenever you. Yeah.
All right. So, okay, here we go. We want to get to your fans because a lot of them sent in some questions.
Awesome.
And how about we move on to Jennifer? You've got
a
question.
Hey, she's down in the other corner.
Hey.
Hello.
Long time no see. At least
I know.
and a half.
Right, and you only have like 57 shows in August.
Right. I know. Awesome. I'm working again. I can pay for groceries. It's fantastic.
That's great. Okay, so obviously Stronger Beer is going to be a song that lives on probably past you. Is there another song that you would love people to cover that your grandkids might hear years from now?
That's a good question. Yeah, the thing with Stronger Beer is it's a bit of a double-edged sword because, I will say this. I feel so blessed and lucky that I have a song that has permeated pop culture. That is invaluable as an artist. On the other side of the coin, I understand completely why Van Morrison didn't play Brown Eyed Girl for 30 years. You know what I mean? Because as an artist, you're always looking ahead. So you're always looking at what you did now or what you're doing now versus what you did 10 years ago. So, in the sense that, as much as I love that, and I will never not play it. I will never not play it. I will always lean toward hit songs to play when we play live. If I had to pick another song for people to cover, I mean, the most personal song I've ever released probably is Anna Lee or Forever Rebels. It's literally a tattoo on my arm, And that's how I got the line, worthy of words on your tattoo. That's what a song should do. That's about this tattoo right here. So I would say if there was ever another one, actually, let me change my mind. As I say that, I think What a Song Should Do would be the one. Not What a Song Can Do by Lady A.
Right. Copycats.
What a Song Should Do by Tim Hicks. Right? So let's just leave that one there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer. You mentioned Lady A. So I'm just going to interrupt for a minute because I got a great story.
Oh, good.
It was back in... hang on. So back in 2014, because I looked it up, there was a Lady Antebellum concert at Scotiabank Arena. And I believe Kit Moore was on the bill. And maybe Casey Musgraves.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, so I brought my niece, Nicole, to the show. And we sit down. She's all excited about the concert. And she goes to the bathroom. She comes back. She says, Auntie Linda, I think Tim Hicks is sitting beside me. So I look over and bam, there's Tim.
Hey, Linda.
And you know what? She was more excited about you sitting next to her than watching the freaking concert.
I'm so pleased about that. I'm so pleased about that. Yeah, I remember that day very well because I used to write songs with their guitar player Slim, and I say used to because I haven't in a while. I'm sure we'll reconnect at some point. But he, whenever these guys are kind of in town, they'll reach out. Hey, I'm in Toronto. You want to get together and write because they're bored. They've got no obligations in the day like the stars do. And they're like, "Hey, come on up. Yeah, let's write a tune." So I went up that day and we wrote in his hotel room. And then, he said, "Hey, do you want to come to the show?" Yeah, I want to come to the show.
Yeah.
So I texted Amanda like, "Hey, you want to come to the show today?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to come to the show." And next thing you know, we've got 2 tickets to the show to see Lady A, and they were fantastic. And I remember that because it was very flattering. To have a nice, attractive young girl be excited that I was standing beside her. So, as Amanda's rolling her eyes like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah. And hey, he says that about my niece, but I was sitting there too.
Yes, you were. In fact, you're absolutely right. There were 2 attractive ladies next to me.
Okay, we are moving on.
3 if you count Amanda. Come on.
Amanda. Yes, Amanda's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on. Cheryl Turner has a question for Tim.
Hey, Cheryl. I feel like this is Hollywood Squares. I'm like,
yeah, it's fun.
Down to the bottom.
Okay, Tim, it's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Cheers. Where are you, Cheryl, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Hamilton, and I'm sitting in my apartment.
Nice. I'm just down the road. I'm in St. Catharines.
Yes, and I was going to ask you, how do you find the people in St. Catharines, being that you are a very popular musician?
Yeah,
And how do you find the people in St. Catharines? How do they
react?
Yeah, how do they react? How do they treat you?
Most of the time they don't, because country is kind of a niche thing. So unless you're in the know, it's like, again, Canada's so cool too. Like I'll typically, like, around something that is big, like say Boots and Hearts or an album release or some time where I'm doing like kind of press and I'm out in the public, I'll see people, they'll tweet, "Tim Hicks, I was at Zare's today and you were picking out zucchini." And I'll tweet back like, "Why didn't you say hi?" I'll see it, and I'll joke with them. Someone from St. Catharines will say, "When are you going to play close to home?" It's like, "Well, I played close to home 6 nights a week for 25 years and you didn't come, but I'll see you at the Penn Center," like that kind of thing. So it's, people are usually really kind. And if they do recognize me in any way or whatever, they're very respectful. I've never had anyone come up in the middle of a meal and interrupt us. I had one time, not in Niagara, but we were in Ottawa. I had JJ. He was a baby and he was asleep on me.
Right.
And I had one time a guy was like, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And before I could say, "Dude, I have a sleeping baby on me," he did the thing and took the picture. You know what I mean? So I was like a little bit like, "Oh, come on, man. What are you doing?" It's hard to get your baby to sleep. But other than that, I've never had a negative experience with anybody in the public. Like, it's always been very positive and very encouraging, and people are generally just excited to bump into you and to tell you, that they like your music and that they're proud that you're kind of from home.
Yeah. Well, I listen to KX 94.7, and I have spoken with Linda on several occasions via text. And I can honestly say I do really love your music.
Oh, thank you.
Will you be coming to the Sound of Music Festival in Burlington when it gets back up?
I hope so. I mean, that's one that we haven't done yet. So hopefully we'll be able to work that out. I wish that I had more to do with those kinds of things. What's interesting, and you might take something from this, because I booked myself for almost 20 years before I ever had a record contract or anything like that. And when I did sign those papers, my manager, Ron Kitchener, said, "Listen, like, you've been playing a long time. You're going to have to hand over the keys. Are you okay with that?" And I said, "Take them. I don't ever want to look at an empty calendar again because it would stress me out."
Right. Yeah.
To look at, I used to get one of those. They were $3 at Staples, and it was a little vinyl monthly calendar about this big. And I would look at that at every quarter and see empty squares and go, how am I going to fill this? I have no idea. But somehow it always wound up getting filled. And that was the kind of thing that sort of pushed me to the next level. Like, there's enough going on here that people will be interested. And, as long as the bookings keep coming in, I'll keep doing what I do.
Yeah, that's good. Anyways, it was nice to meet you, Tim.
You too. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Great question. We're going to move on to Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hi, what are you most looking forward to getting back after all this is over?
I think just being able to connect with an audience again. There is nothing quite like standing in front of people and seeing and feeling their reaction, The Zoom thing, like, this is great to get to hang with you guys, and it's very safe and it's wonderful. But the performance thing on the internet it got old real fast for me because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't feel the same, and I would make jokes like, I can hear you clapping all the way from St. Catharines, but that's really just kind of like self-handicapping, you know what I mean? Like to kind of help you get through it, So I'm really mostly looking forward to standing in front of a big crowd and feeling that energy again, It happened for a brief moment. We did 3 nights in London, or 3 shows in London. It was three shows, but over 2 nights. And Justine and Jen were there. They're on this call, and I people clapped, and I was like, "Oh, just keep it going. I need to feel this." I'm a Leo. I'm a performer. I do that for life. I live for that interaction. I live for it. And so that's been the hardest thing for me as a performer during COVID is not having that connection. So I would say that.
I would say as a fan, we're also missing that as well.
Yeah, I know you guys feel it because I feel it as a fan too, like being able to feel, this sounds silly, but to feel sound pressure, you know what I mean? Like when the kick drum and you feel it in your chest. I can't wait for that, to see a band play and to feel that, So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Okay, let's move on to Kathy. Kathy LaBelle. Kathy's here. Go ahead.
My question, I believe, was what have you learned about yourself during this whole lockdown?
Okay, okay. You want to get serious?
Yeah.
So what I've learned is that having your career take off as you start to have a family causes distance. My time during the pandemic has been spent reconnecting with my kids and my wife because I've had to be away so much. And I didn't fathom the I want to say the word damage, but it's not damage. I couldn't fathom the dynamic that I had created by doing what I do this is all I've ever done. Like I had jobs before this. I worked at Burger King. I was a drive-through technician, and I ran a summer camp for a day camp for special needs teens. And those are really the only 2 jobs I ever had. At the exact same time I was doing those things, I was gigging. So I've only ever done this. So I didn't really have an understanding of how my career choice would have an impact on the relationships in my life. And so that would be the biggest lesson that I've taken from all this is that, I really have to be, when I'm home, I really have to be present. And I've said that in interviews before, but I really have to be present to make up for that time that I'm away, and so I've really focused on, that's why, like when we connected last summer and you commented like, you've been a little quiet on social. I've been so focused on my family and on keeping that boat afloat that everything else went to the wayside for me, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and because that should be anyone's priority is your marriage and family. And I like I said, I didn't really understand what it meant for Dad to be away for all that time until I was home for all that time, and then all those feelings came out. It's been a lot. I've learned a ton over the last year and a bit, and I'm thankful that it happened in some ways, because I feel like the pandemic has saved my marriage and my family in some way, you know? So there you go.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I said Kathy and it's Caddy, so I apologize for that. But that was an amazing question.
Hey,
And
before you move on, seeing your cat there, Caddy, I was telling Linda and the rest of the KX people before I logged on, I thought I lost our new kittens just before I logged on, because I was barbecuing outside and then all of a sudden we couldn't find them, but just before I logged on, I found them. And like Amanda was mad and the kids were mad. They all left for baseball, like angry at me because they thought I lost the kittens, but I found them, so we're good.
woo, okay,
Right over here.
all right. We're
right here.
We've got maybe 5 minutes to go, so we're going to try and squeeze in at least 1 or 2 more questions. Michelle Cole, hi.
Hey, Michelle, where's she? I can't see everybody. That's what's going on. I can only see like 9 of you or something.
She's sitting on her front porch.
I'm going to make this bigger.
Hello.
There she is. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
You know, doing good.
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I can't wait to do this for real and, standing in front of you guys.
Us too, for sure. So my question to you was, what was the weirdest thing or place you ever had like an aha moment and wrote down some lyrics?
Oh, lyrics. If I'm honest, my lyric writing is boring. Like, prior to COVID, I would always write in Nashville. It was very compartmentalized for me. So I would go there to, to write for a week or 2 weeks. But every now and again, okay, this is going to be a little bit gross. I apologize. But when you get stuck on a lyric especially in a write when you're in a publishing house, if you get up and go to the bathroom, something happens in there. Typically, by the time you come back or by the time you're back, either your co-writers or yourself have cracked the code. So I would say probably standing at a urinal someplace. You go, oh, hell yeah, to the day I die, hell bent on a hell-raising good time. That's what it should be, guys. That's what it should be. And that's kind of how it happens. I wish that it was more like artsy than that. Like when I was in my 20s and I didn't have a family, 3:30 in the morning, you'd pour a shot of whiskey, and sit with my leather bound lyric book. I did all that, but, really didn't learn how to write songs until I really started hanging out in Nashville. But I would say that's probably the weirdest place is, when you take that break, go to the bathroom, somehow something happens because your brain it's almost like you're locked on something. And then as soon as you let go of that for a second, your brain works differently somehow. So there you go.
Do your best thinking in the bathroom, just like we
I
do
guess, yeah.
in the shower.
Yeah, we do our best tweeting in the bathroom too.
Right.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay, now I see a couple of kids, and it's under the name Mackenzie.
Hey, Mackenzie.
And I would love for you guys to talk to Tim.
I love that. I haven't seen you in a while.
Okay, say hi.
Hi, Tim.
You got bigger.
My birthday was in June.
That's amazing. Are you 9 now?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it.
Hi.
Hi.
Tell
What's
me
your name? I can't remember. Did we meet before?
No.
I didn't think so. What's your name?
Grayson.
Grayson. Nice to meet you, Grayson. Or Zoom meet you, as they say. Do you have a question that you've been thinking about asking a country singer?
Do you have a question? Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
What is it?
My dad wants to know what's your favorite whiskey.
Oh, I would say, okay, it changes because for a long time it was Jack Daniels, and then I drank too much Jack Daniels. So I would say that it's a toss-up between Jameson's and Crown Royal.
Okay.
Just depends on the mood and who's around and what's going on. But don't drink or smoke cigarettes. How about that?
My dad's favorite is Wiser's.
Wiser's. Okay, that's a good one. Yep, I like Wiser's. Jim Beam too, every now and again.
And I have a question.
Yeah, ask me.
Can you play in Peterborough?
I would love to play in Peterborough. We played a number of shows in Peterborough early on, and it's been a little while since we've been back. So hopefully that will happen at some point very soon.
Yay!
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I wish, like I was saying earlier, I wish that I had more to do with those decisions, you know, but times have changed for me, and now I have a team of people, and there are 10 people between me and a gig. You know, and what I mean is that there's all these people that make the decisions, and then one day they just tell me, hey, and on February blah blah blah, you're going to play Peterborough, and I go, all right, Peterborough. You know, so hopefully we'll be able to get out there real soon.
I love your music.
Thank you, Mackenzie. It's nice to see you.
Thank you, Mackenzie and Grayson. We do have to wrap things up a bit here. One quick little wee question, which I think maybe everybody might want to know. A rider. Do you ever have a rider?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we have a rider.
And for those of you who are not really sure what the rider is, it's things that they request that they want in their dressing room backstage.
Yeah. So I've come to realize, are you going to ask me what's on it? Is that what you want?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So 6 pairs of underwear, 3 green apples, and 1 llama. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? So for everyone's benefit, so what happens is when you get a record deal and you do these shows, you can request things to be in the dressing room for you, and so ours is very practical, and I do that on purpose because I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to take advantage of them. But there are a few important things on our rider. Number 1 is that we request a sandwich tray or the stuff to make sandwiches be in our dressing room when we arrive, and I'll tell you why. Because Dougie in our band has diabetes, and he needs to eat, especially on a travel day. So if we get to the dressing room and there's no food for him to eat, often his sugar will be low. And we've had a few close calls with him on the road. So we take that very seriously, that there is some sort of food or fruit juice or something in the dressing room for him, you know, and also for the crew, because the crew gets there long before we do. So the crew will arrive, say, at 8 a.m. to start loading in, where we don't actually get there till 4 for sound check or something. So so that's kind of important. But the most important part of our rider is our bottle of tequila that we need. Because we have this tradition where we all do a shot of tequila before we go on the stage. And it's become so famous that if our manager is around or our agent, they all know, and they'll say, don't do the shot without me. I'll be right back. You know, I'm just going to go get the KX people, or like whatever it is. You know what I mean? And so those kinds of things. And, you know, we got a little bit snobby about our tequila because, you know, as we've grown into grown men, you know, we have our preferences. So it says, for instance, like, please 100% agave tequila, please no Cuervo, no Sauza, no Hornitos, you know, like the, you know, the kind of the basement brands. And there's one in particular that we love called Casamigos. So if we roll in and there's a bottle of Casamigos waiting for us, they're getting an extra special show that night. You know, not because we've drank the tequila, but because we're excited to drink it after, you know. So that's what I would say would be the most important thing on our rider.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for being here in the KX Country Clubhouse. We wish that, you know, we could sit and hang here for hours, but we all have schedules.
Hey, guess what I'm doing? I'm gonna go coach a baseball game right now.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Yeah. First base coach.
That sounds like fun.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
How about we all take a line together? Ready?
Awesome.
3,
Thank
2,
you.
1.
Bye.
Thanks, KX.
Hey, yes, I love you guys, and I'll see you.
Happy anniversary, KX.
Thanks, Jana.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.